Welcome to the Sneaking Into the Movies podcast. I'm Max Nathan.
And I'm Norman Davis. We have a very special extra episode for you folks this week. That's right, we will be talking about The Wrestler. This was the winner of our Sneaking Into the Movies Marathon Challenge from January's. Shout out Nick Steen. This one's for you, buddy. Let's get into it.
One, two, three.
As much as I love to grant Nick's wish and get straight into The Wrestler, we got hit by a nuke this week, us movie heads. Us fans of entertainment and cinema and art as a whole. Something terrible has happened. Something we didn't really think was going to happen. Something, I don't know. That's right. You've probably read it. It's all over the news. Smiling Friends is fucking dead.
I was practically crying for the past 24 hours. This is truly one of the worst things to ever happen in the entertainment business.
I couldn't believe it. Part of me still thinks this is some elaborate bit, but that is the first stage of grief, my friend. It's denial. And I need to skip however many steps ahead and go straight to acceptance. Smiling Friends is over. We do have 2 bonus episodes coming, which is exciting.
I did enjoy when they went to Brazil. That was a good time.
It was awesome when they went to Brazil, yeah. It's not necessarily a finale, just 2 episodes they did. They're probably going to be hilarious anyways. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about the show on here, so some people may be confused. Smiling Friends is a adult animated show on Adult Swim, created by 2 kind of famous YouTubers. It's incredible. It's really just grabbed people our age specifically.
Yeah. We don't even talk about TV shows that much on this podcast, but we had to make an exception for this because this is, I know this is a very important show, obviously, to the both of us, but it feels like Smiling Friends really tapped into something within our kind of age group. As far as really like reinventing what a 20-minute animated comedy show on Adult Swim could be. And I have loved every single second of it. And I'm going to be sad to see it go.
Yeah, I mean, this really was a huge show. Like you said, we don't talk about TV much. I'm so bad at keeping up with TV. There are 2 shows that I go out of my way to not miss. It is Smiling Friends and The Pit. So yeah, this sucked. But yeah, this was huge, specifically for kind of people in our age range. Mm-hmm. Me and my girlfriend Bree dressed up as the main characters, Pim and Charlie, for Halloween. And
it was a great couple's costume.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe on the break I'll throw it on the green screen here.
Yep.
But we went out on Halloween, and I mean I knew this show was pretty popular. I was shocked by just how many people were like, "Oh, Pim and Charlie!" We all literally, not to toot our horns or nothing, all night people were coming up complimenting the costumes. We were at Whataburger at 3:30 in the morning, exhausted. I'm waiting to use the bathroom. Some dude is like, "Yo," and I'm like, "You're fucking Charlie," and I took a picture with them, and like, yeah, there were people who take a picture of our costumes. Like, this was a huge show with people our age. It is a big loss. The creators just came out and said they are burnt out, and they just don't want to keep making it, which is kind of crazy for a show at season 3 that, for my money and most people's, has never had a bad episode. But I guess better to stop than to just keep begrudgingly making something because it's the biggest show. They don't want to turn into Rick and Morty, if you will.
Woof, yeah.
But yeah, so that fucking sucks. But that is not the giant atomic nuke of movie news that we're actually here to talk about. In a race that we thought was over, I guess you could say, Max.
Yeah, I didn't really think that
this was a big
this was going to
shock
happen
towards the finish line. I didn't think this would happen either, but Paramount is officially won the bid for Warner Brothers. Obviously, this has been a thing for a while. Warner Brothers was going to sell. For a while, it was Netflix. We talked about this here on the show. We weren't too excited about it, but they, for my money, were the better alternative
I
than
would agree with
Paramount.
that.
I think you did too. Yeah. So yeah, essentially, I mean, this is all business stuff, but Paramount came with the higher offer. Warner Brothers board was like, we like this offer more. Netflix is like, y'all are smoking. If you think we're spending any more money on this, you can have Paramount. And here we are. I think a deal will be kind of closed by the end of the day, maybe even when this episode comes out. By the time you listen to this, it'll probably be much more official. But yeah, I feel like we should talk about why this sucks, especially
Of course.
more than Netflix, who is kind of like the kings of ruining Hollywood.
Yeah. I just personally can't believe I went from being, super down on Warner Brothers going to Netflix and being like, oh, fuck, the industry's over. But at least it didn't go to the Ellison family and Paramount. That's good. To reasonably optimistic about what Netflix was going to do, all the way back around to, oh, fuck, it's over, and this time the Ellisons got it.
Max, we're talking a lot about these Ellison folks here, but we haven't really stated our case. The Ellisons are big friends with the president. They're very close with him. They bought Paramount within the last year, and they have promised to remove all DEI from Paramount.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. And it's crazy to say that about Paramount. Paramount has had one movie directed by a black director in the past 5 years. And it was Transformers. So it was kind of like a director for hire movie anyways. They have a blacklist. Yeah, one of those. You haven't heard about that in a while. People on social issues, specifically like Israel and immigration and stuff, they have a very clear view on how they feel about it. And if you're talking bad about it, you're out of there. They have already like completely gutted CBS and turned it into a total laughingstock. Most people have left. They have like destroyed 60 Minutes. Most famously, they're like the week that they bought CBS was running a story on a Guatemalan prison that most immigrants, regardless of what they did, are getting sent to, and just how terrible it was to live there. They pulled that like an hour before it went out. It's actually entirely online. It was that close to going up before they were like, no. They have pulled, I mean, they canceled Stephen Colbert. Not that, late night talk shows kind of has the hold it used to, but clearly that is a political thing more than a ratings thing. Doesn't take a genius to see that.
Mm-hmm.
They suppressed his interview with Texas Senate
Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico.
Which, little side note there. So yeah, they didn't let that play on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
It is now like the most watched clip on all of Stephen Colbert's YouTube. So if they just let it play on Stephen Colbert, way less people would have seen it. Because like I said, no one really watches night show, talk show anymore.
Yeah, on fucking Paramount Plus. Like it's that's a side thing. But also, early voting in Dallas ends today, and election day is on Tuesday. So pay attention to that.
I'll be voting on Tuesday. I missed early voting. Been busy, but I'm looking forward to voting. Yeah. But with Paramount, in the short time they've owned Paramount, they've already given second chances to 3 people who were allegedly, some of these people are abusers, and allegedly some of these people are pedophiles, and there are pictures of them holding teenage girls in their lap.
Yes.
These people include Brett Ratner doing Rush Hour 4 because the president really wants it for some reason. No one's asking for Rush Hour 4. They're going to overspend like crazy on this movie to get Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan back because they're not really hot anymore, but they're going to still want $20 million each. Johnny Depp is getting his big Hollywood second chance here with a movie by T.I. West that Paramount is making. And recently as today, Max Landis, who just Google his name and look up Max Landis allegations and you'll see a lot of them. Notable, terrible screenwriter in general. He made the movie Bright on Netflix, which was like about racism, but they were trolls instead of people.
Yeah.
Whatever. His Star Wars, as he called it. Is writing a G.I. Joe movie. At the same time, Danny McBride is also writing a G.I. Joe movie. And they're going to combine the 2 scripts together. Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
Clearly, these guys are going to be really good at running a movie studio. That's the gist there.
Yeah. They're killing Hollywood so that CNN will be a little nicer to Trump, essentially. And yeah, on top of all of that, Paramount just doesn't really make good movies, I will say, compared to all the other big studios.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to dog on everyone.
Yeah. They haven't been in charge of Paramount for that long in the grand scheme of things. Like, they've just recently acquired Paramount. But we can see what they're doing. We know who their allies are. We know what kinds of movies that they're greenlighting, and it's going to become clear in the near future.
They are making Passion of the Christ too.
Yep.
You cannot talk bad about Israel, but you are allowed to be Mel Gibson and say what he said. Look it up and get a second chance. Yeah, this is really bad. This is really bad. This is worse than Netflix. I mean, the Netflix thing already wasn't too exciting with the whole fear of losing theaters.
On the other hand, though, like the reason that I was reasonably optimistic about the Netflix thing, Warner Brothers getting sold to anybody sucks in terms of the amount of job loss that was going to be inevitable and just all of the real world stuff. But in terms of the actual quality of the output, I had some faith in Netflix being able to, at the very least, empower artists.
Yeah.
They're known for, like, Martin Scorsese, you want to make The Irishman? Here's a goddamn bazillion dollars. Like, you look at all of the stuff they've done with Noah Baumbach, like White Noise and things like that. Jay Kelly.
David Fincher.
David Fincher.
David Fincher $300 million to movies that you could probably make for $40 million.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I get where you're coming from there. Paramount does not do that. Paramount, they've tried. They've had, one of Max's favorite movies ever in the last couple of years is a Paramount movie, but it tanked so hard they haven't made anything like that since. Yep. But yeah, they also handle their IP like terribly, I think. This whole Scream 7 situation has been a mess. The movie's still going to make money, so they win in the end, I guess. But apparently it's really, really, really bad. But yeah.
We're not going to be watching that here.
We're not going to be watching that here. Boo, don't support that movie. But yeah, I don't know. And like they're trying to bring in talent in certain places, but it's all just like they're bringing in Dan Trachtenberg, which is, I think he's one of the most like talented IP filmmakers right now. But it's
he's
just all
the
with an
director
asterisk.
of Prey and Predator Badlands.
Yeah, he has completely revitalized and given a total new life to Predator. But it all comes with an asterisk, just because I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna be allowed to do. I don't know. Like, are we gonna get a Batman 3? Is DC about to reboot itself for the 4th time in 10 years?
Yeah, it would be really funny if we just get that one Superman movie and Supergirl or whatever, and then it's just done. It's just done.
I can tell you if this goes through that Supergirl will be the last female-led DC movie like ever, other than maybe like a Wonder Woman movie.
Sure.
Which honestly, they might just bring Gal Gadot back. We're talking about Paramount here.
Yep.
You laugh until it happens, man. You laugh until it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This just sucks.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about all the tens of thousands of people that are going to be laid off because of this. Most Variety reported that most people working at Warner Brothers way preferred if it went to Netflix. Mm-hmm. Netflix, I don't know. I think Netflix was pretty shady too, but they were kind of like, we're just going to let Warner Brothers do their thing.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that the big problem here is the mergers themselves and the fact that they're being allowed to happen and all of this consolidation of this intellectual property and also all of these media channels. It's just not good, because then at the end of the day, when all of the media companies have converged into one giant entity, one person is going to have control over all of this. And no matter what side of the political spectrum you end up on, that is not a good thing at all.
Not in the slightest. If this happens, we'll be down to 4 major studios.
Yeah.
Universal, Sony, Disney, and Paramount. Fox has been eaten up. Obviously, the Disney merger in the last 10 years was a big deal.
Which was also not another, huge flashpoint moment in Hollywood that probably isn't. It wasn't as flashy at the time as this is, I think. I think this is much more cataclysmic, although the Fox Disney deal was also super duper important as far as,
It destroyed Fox. I mean,
exactly.
Go on Wikipedia and look at Fox's release schedule, pre and post. They used to put out 40, 50 movies a year. Now they put out like 9 or 10. Yeah, like this sucks. We talked about this during the Netflix episode, and I was a little skeptical, but I can confidently 100% say that a studio like Paramount, led by David Ellison, would never give you a Sinners, would never give you a one battle after another. You'd be lucky to get a Weapons. Yeah, they are not in the business of creativity, which at least Netflix for as much shit Netflix puts out. Like
I think you can. I think the quality of the films you can dang a little bit, but the actual intention of what they do, like the mission of the company, I think is a little bit more, a little bit easier to digest than what Paramount is currently trying to do.
Just make as much money as fast as you can. Just straight IP stuff, which we like our IP stuff, obviously, me Max, but we also like our not IP stuff.
We do, and we also like when our IP stuff is not turned into propaganda, which might be a little bit of a problem in the future. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see filmmakers. Not that all the filmmakers at Warner Brothers are free to do whatever they want with the precious IP and stuff. They definitely were more handsy with stuff after the Zack Snyder incident. But yeah, just there's nothing to be excited about with this. There's no kind of, well, at least, no, not at all. No.
So, yeah, that is the Paramount deal. It sucks. Let's transition to The Wrestler. You good on Paramount?
Yeah, let's hope for the best. God help us all.
We are back, and we are here to talk about the movie that Nick Steen suggested we tackle, because he was the winner of the Sneaking Into the Movies marathon for January, and he said, do The Wrestler. So we are doing The Wrestler. Norman, had you seen this movie before?
Not in a very long, very, very long time. This was one, they're always throwing this on Spike TV. It's where I came across Rambo. It's where I came across Rocky. I owe a lot to Spike TV for big macho movies. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been a while. I kind of didn't know this was directed by Aronofsky.
Okay.
Have you seen this before?
I had not.
But you've seen some Aronofsky movies.
Not really. I've only seen his most recent Caught Stealing, which is why I was a little worried to do this episode, because I was like, oh God, I'm going to be shitting all over Nick's favorite movie, because Aronofsky seems like such a chud to me. Like, I thought Caught Stealing was like generationally awful. Like, I know you liked it, right?
I thought it was great. Like, I low-key really liked it. But yeah, I think in that same vein, I think The Whale is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I think I don't like The Mother at all. He, within the last 2 weeks, put out an AI history show.
That was the other thing that came up. He's doing some recreation of the American Civil War using AI. That's
I think it's I think it's all the wars. Maybe I don't know.
Some bullshit.
But yeah, but I will say though, I think Black Swan is fantastic. I've always loved that movie. It's one of the many movies that made me just love movies and want to make movies. I think Requiem for a Dream's pretty good too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's pretty all over the place, I guess we could say, in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
But what did you think of The Wrestler, Max?
I mean, it brings me great joy to say that I thought this was fantastic, shockingly so. I was really, really surprised because, like we said, like my picture of Aronofsky in my head is not the rosiest. I really did not like Caught Stealing at all. But I thought this was fantastic. I really, really loved Mickey Rourke in this movie. He's so... he's obviously a very flawed man. He's very sad. You should call it, the sad guy instead of the wrestler, because he's just a sad guy. He doesn't do much wrestling. But I thought that this would, like, he has such a, like, gentle quality on screen. Like he is this... It just reminded me a lot of the Smashing Machine. I don't know if you were thinking about that during this movie.
1,000%. Yeah. It's like the Smash Machine if it was good. But yeah, I just want to say, like, off the bat with rewatching this, as someone who has seen pretty much I don't think I've seen all of his movies, but I've seen most Aronofsky movies.
Okay.
This is like his most, for lack of a better term, like normal movie. But yeah, I also agree. I thought this was great.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting look. This is also another one I'm excited this was picked because it's very fun to talk about the making of this movie and like Mickey Rourke as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's half the fun of the show, at least for me, is talking about how movies get made, because obviously that's what we want to do. But yeah, how movies get made, learning about the people, because I mean, I've met some pretty, crazy characters in the very few things I've worked on. I would imagine you could say the same.
Yes.
So yeah, this was just a really good pick. Yeah, it was a good movie and one I had a really good time revisiting, because I don't know, I kind of had no expectation for this. I was in the same place as you with the whole Aronofsky of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a good movie.
I just really, really, really enjoyed it. Let's talk about some of the things that we enjoyed. I think that the first thing you got to tackle is the way that this movie is shot. He chooses to use this very, like, voyeuristic perspective. You are behind Mickey Rourke for most of the movie, kind of just like watching him walk around throughout his daily life, where he, when he goes to wrestle, when he goes to, the strip club, when he goes to, hang out with the kids in the neighborhood, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
And provided for some, cute moments and some comedy. And yeah, I think that this kind of movie, this was shot on 16 millimeter film as well, which is another reason why it looks so good. I think it has this very necessary grit to it in terms of the actual movie itself and the story that's being told, but also the visual style is, matching that perfectly. And he's also, like we said, like with the kind of like voyeurism that's going on, there's just a lot of like moving camera stuff that I like. You just really feel like you're a fly on the wall watching this guy's life.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting. What did you think of the way that it was shot?
I thought it was genius. Yeah, like you said. I think it really helps in a movie like this. Like sports biopics and biopics in general, like the worst ones are just like painfully boring and like uninspired. But,
yes.
Yeah, this movie is just so distinct in the way it looks and feels and how they do everything with him. Like the Smashing Machine, like you said. It's another thing I think. They were very meticulous with how they shot that movie. And that was the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just helps you, I don't know, warm up to him more.
Definitely.
Because I'm very like drawn to movies like this. For context, I really, really like contact sports. I wasn't like the craziest kept up, but I watched a decent amount of WWE growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I love UFC, just straight up.
Yeah.
I watch it all the time. I went to a fight last weekend. It was a ton of fun. But yeah, I like movies like this where, because these guys, like so many of them are awful human beings, I will say.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many of them and they're just like good people, like good human beings, and they just get a bad rep because they punch people in the face for a living or throw around for a living. So yeah, it's nice to get something like this.
And like you said, like it's there's a really easy way for this movie to be insufferably boring. but it's not, because you're so invested in everything that this guy is doing, mainly because of the Mickey Rourke performance. But it's also just really interesting. Like Mickey Rourke's character, Randy the Ram Robinson. He's like this wrestler, and that's kind of like everything that defines him. And then he experiences this heart attack, and they basically tell him, "Look, you're kind of done, or you're gonna die." And I feel like these kinds of themes have been explored in some other movies. Like I think there's none that really come to mind for me at the moment, but just as far as like, you have a professional athlete, and what does their life mean without their main purpose or their career and that kind of thing. But and it is really interesting when you get to that point. I thought that was when the movie really kicked into gear for me, because you're just watching, you really start to think about like what this guy actually has, and you start to think about, it's also, about getting older in a lot of respects. Like when you get older, when you get to that point where you don't have all of the distractions of your youth and the things that you really like that filled up most of your time, like what do you actually have left? And in his case, it's not really that much, because of how many mistakes he's made, and you see that. What did you think of his journey with his daughter and kind of Marissa Tomei and all of that stuff?
I mean, I thought it was great. It was beautiful. Marissa Tomei was fantastic in this too.
Yes.
She was. We'll talk about it, but she was also nominated for this. But yeah, I liked it a lot. What did you think?
I thought it was really, really good. And again, like it has every opportunity to go wrong. Like it's exactly the kind of thing that like when I like before watching the movie, I kind of felt that it was, I don't know, we were talking about The Whale earlier, and I called it Oscar slop, where it's just kind of something, it's a movie that is designed for a character to or an actor to scream and cry in one scene and really powerfully, and really kind of like get the audience going in one moment.
Like those Instagram reels you see when it's greatest performances of all time, and it's just like Daniel Day-Lewis and Bryan Cranston yelling.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought this movie could have been, and I didn't feel like it ever reached that territory. Like I was truly fully invested in what this guy was doing, and it has a lot of that depth to it. Like we said, like with thinking about what your life actually means outside of your passions, your hobbies, your greatest purpose. I think for Aronofsky, he was probably, you can think about like he was probably thinking about like filmmaking and that kind of thing, and like we can kind of relate to that in a lot of ways as well.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, yeah, we are both driven by passion for wanting to do something.
Yeah,
it's like the only thing we want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm just a sucker for that. I mean, Marty Supreme was like kind of all about that too.
Pretty similar thing. And like what does it mean when you really, in Marty Supreme, it's kind of like, what does it mean when you like become an adult, and what do you have, what are the sacrifices you have to make? But in this, it's like it's similar, because it's like what happens when you get older, like that's kind of the vibe. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting and good. Small bit about Marissa Tomei, I thought she was excellent as well. In the beginning, she's playing Pam, or Cassidy, the stripper.
Yeah.
And they like in the beginning, she's introduced in these like young pricks, they're just young pricks, and I think one of them says like, "Oh, like you look like my mom, like my mom's friend," or something like that, or like just like making fun of her that she's old or something. While she looks ridiculously hot, like there's no just absolutely insane behavior from these pricks at the bar, and then
like
Mickey
it
Rourke.
said help,
Yes. It's like that, exactly that kind of thing of just like, what, like it has to be written this way, but like, oh my God, like this is not, but anyway, Mickey Rourke comes in and, it's just like, gets rid of them and just says, you get out of here. And their relationship in the movie is kind of, it's a constant will they, won't they, almost. And a lot of it is driven by the fact that she doesn't want to cross the line of, being with a customer. That's like, again, it would break her job. And you understand that. She cares about it. But you really are rooting for them in a lot of ways. Or I was, at least.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah. And
if you're not, I want to talk to you, Loki.
Yeah. And did you think that they were going to be able to make it work? I'll just ask that.
Yeah, the optimist in me, the seeing a lot of movies in me. What about you?
I thought that it was going to end that way. Yeah, I thought that they were going to get together. I desperately wanted it because you feel for that Mickey Rourke character so much. You desperately want him to get his shit together, and it's so painful when he falls prey to his own, shortcomings. Like he, after that, he goes to the wrestling match. He tells his daughter after a very heartfelt scene where he kind of says, like, I'm a fuck up. Like, I tried to forget about you, but I couldn't. Very, very deeply emotional scene where he actually connects with his daughter, and his daughter, kind of grabs his arm, and they have a little moment, and he's like, can we get dinner sometime? And then she's like, yeah, Saturday at 8 or whatever. And he doesn't show up because he goes to a wrestling match and, talks to this girl, and he does, he's with that girl. He's, just doing a lot of stuff in that bathroom. So, and he obviously misses the, dinner with his daughter. And his daughter
his chance.
Yeah, his last chance to really reconnect with his daughter, because he left her. And she feels, it's clearly affected her a lot. And she basically tells him to fuck off, and it's over. Yep. And it's so painful in that moment to watch her tell him, it's over. Like you every chance is just gone now. And yet you really do feel for the guy, even though you just saw him fuck some lady in the bathroom instead of going to, meet his daughter for dinner. He is kind of a shitty guy. Like, he does shitty things.
Yeah.
And yet this performance is so good. Like you really want him to figure it out. And that's just a testament to how good Mickey Rourke is as an actor. I mean, I haven't seen him in a ton of stuff. The thing that I remember him from the most is probably Iron Man 2.
I was like, bro, you even got to think about that. Come on. Now.
Yeah, no. I'm mainly stalling for time because my voice is doing something weird, but... All right, I'm back. But in Iron Man 2, he plays the bad guy. He plays Whiplash. And...
Bored.
Let me just say right here, right now. I told you I had a take before this episode. Is it possible that Iron Man 2 is the most underrated movie of all time? Maybe.
Not by a country mile.
Let me make my case. Okay.
I will say, we're going to talk about Iron Man later this year, but I do really like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
But most underrated movie of all time is blasphemy.
Everybody hates this movie. Everybody thinks this is such a huge drop off from the first movie. Like, this movie sucks. Like, it almost ruined the whole thing.
Most of them haven't seen it.
Maybe. But I really think that Iron Man 2 is genuinely great. You get this Mickey Rourke performance that's insane, where he plays this Russian guy who has the whips. And he keeps saying Bort, as you said. Sam Rockwell as the great Justin Hammer. Come on. The introduction of Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. There's a lot of good stuff in that. You get Don Cheadle Rhodey, who I think is much better than Terrence Howard. And you get them kind of clashing in that movie. And that scene where they fight is really cool. And I think the scene where they bring out War Machine and they fight all of the drones, and then they have the big fight with Whiplash in the Epcot Center. I don't know what that is. the big dome, the big globe in L.A. I just really liked that movie, and I always liked his performance in that movie. It's fucking insane, but it's I think it's an awesome movie, and that's my little.
No, you
Iron
think
Man
it's
2.
the most underrated movie ever made, is what you
I
just
think
said.
everybody thinks it sucks and is bad, and I think that is just so not the case. I think there's a lot of movies that are underrated out there, but I think that movie gets a certain level of vitriol that is totally unjustified. Like it's the most. I guess there are other movies that like people think like one of my favorite movies is Babylon. Like I could say that. One of my favorite movies is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Like I could say that. But I think in turn like it's the most I just think I'm just so confused as to why people don't like that movie. It's a good movie.
I
and Mickey
honestly-
Rourke is really good in it.
I totally get every complaint with that movie. It all works for me. I don't want to turn this into Iron Man 2 talk. 'Cause,
Yeah, we'll get back to the wrestler in a minute.
yeah, but no, I understand why people don't like his performance. I understand why people don't love that movie. It does get kind of messy. It is pretty lit though, and I do like Mickey Rourke in it. But I do think a lot of it boils down to people complaining it isn't comic accurate, and it's a bunch of people who have never read a comic in their life, which plagues all of these dang silly superhero movies. And yeah, sure, it's not, but like, who cares? It's Whiplash. It's everyone's favorite character, Whiplash, that has to be done justice on the big screen, or else what's the point of any of this?
Yeah.
Like, come on. But no, definitely not the most underrated movie of all time.
Yeah.
Probably Marvel movies more underrated than that.
Which ones?
I don't know.
Another podcast. The Wrestler.
Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
You're laughing.
That's,
You're laughing.
That's another podcast, but
Yeah.
The Wrestler. So Mickey Rourke also has such an interesting background. I couldn't even cover it all in one episode, I don't think. Just such an interesting story where he is in all these movies. He's worked with directors he's worked with Coppola, he worked with Aronofsky, he worked with who else has
Favreau.
he worked with? Favreau. He's worked with a lot of heavy hitter filmmakers, and yet he had this early stretch of his career. He leaves in 1991. He leaves acting to pursue boxing. In 1994, he retires from boxing. He comes back to acting, and he received a bunch of injuries as a boxer, and that includes a split tongue, compressed cheekbone, bunch of really bad injuries. He also had short-term memory loss, I believe. And surgeons sort of rebuilt his nose with cartilage from his ear, and he had a bunch of plastic surgery to fix a lot of that stuff. And that's why he looks so different now from when he was young. Have you seen pictures of him when he was younger?
I don't think I have, no.
Look it up real
I'll
quick.
look it up right now.
Look it up real quick, because he looks like a completely different guy now than he did back in the day. And supposedly his balance also suffers to this day, if he's tired or drinks alcohol. He's got some, issues from this boxing experience. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just looked at a picture.
Yeah. So yeah, he's had a really interesting life and career. And he almost wasn't the guy in this movie. Do you know who they almost picked?
I do, because it's right in front of me, but why don't you tell me, Max?
It was Nick Cage. Norman, that is a weird alternative. Just flat out. We're probably some of the biggest fans of Nick Cage in the world right here. And I straight up don't think this movie works with Nick Cage.
I can understand where they're coming from with Nick Cage, but I don't think, it does not have the same impact, especially because, he was a boxer and he has that experience in combat sports. I think he just brings, I guess we don't know for sure, but
yeah,
you can assume he brings so much personal life experience into this movie that he just is so damn good in it.
He also brings a physicality to it that is integral to the role.
You think Nick Cage would have got jacked for this if he made it?
No, we've seen the Ghost Rider abs. There's no way. There's no way
Superman lives abs, bro.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, no, the studio wanted Nick Cage, and Aronofsky was like, Mickey Rourke, it's my guy. So yeah, I don't, even as a huge fan of Nick Cage, I don't really think that works. Um,
It just wouldn't feel as authentic, I guess. And
no,
I think this movie just feels so authentic.
it does.
Obviously, because of Rourke.
There's a lot of real wrestlers as well.
Yeah, a lot of real wrestlers. Steal one of your fun facts here. All the wrestling scenes were filmed in front of live audiences, which is really cool and really adds to that. Because, I mean, so many movies either CGI the crowd in or don't show the crowd and just play audio of the crowd. But yeah, like having that live audience really there just kind of kicks it to another level and makes it all feel so much more exciting. And you can understand like why he has this drive to wrestle and why, he's willing to give up everything for it.
It's also so important, piggybacking off of what you were saying, like to the end of the movie, where he basically decides or deduces that the crowd is the what he cherishes the most. That's always who, supports him throughout, anything. Like it's always the crowd, because he's a wrestler and he needs the crowd. Like that's his form of support, and he's willing to die for it. And so he, at the end of the movie, Marissa Tomei shows up and is like, hey, don't, well, she comes to see him before that, and she's like, hey, you are more than just a customer, and like, kind of implies something. But he's like, okay. And then he goes to the wrestling thing, and then Marissa Tomei sort of rushes in, and they have that big moment where she kind of comes in, and she basically tells him, like, look, don't do this, and we will figure this out, basically. So he decides that he, I don't know, do you think that he is, in that moment, not interested in it anymore, or he's so damaged by everything else that he thinks he's gonna fuck that up?
I think he's just so damaged, and he has so much self-hate, especially like everything with his daughter, that it's just like, what's even the point? Like, I'm gonna ruin this. Like, it's not, which, yeah, it's a silly way to think, but what? Like, I'm gonna ruin this. Like, I can't do it. This is all I can do. This is all I know. This is all I want. Yeah. What about you?
I also agree. I think he thinks that he would inevitably fuck it up at some point because of the experience that he just had with his daughter. And I think the daughter, the Marissa Tomei character, like Pam, is extremely important to him in this movie. But I think, he's using Pam to help him mend his relationship with his daughter. And, he also wants to connect with Pam, obviously. He cares very deeply about that relationship as well. But his relationship with his daughter seems to have a leg up on that. And the fact that she told him to fuck off and I never want to see you again, that was basically like death for him. Like it was over at that point. Like he failed as a man, essentially, at that moment. And even if he could have that relationship with Marissa Tomei, it doesn't matter as much now. I mean, all he cares about is kind of going out with a bang. And also just going out. Like he's effectively killing himself in the last scene here. Which is like deeply tragic, and I found really moving. And again, this is not normally the thing that really I gravitate towards in movies. It's very emotional, and it's also very like, it's a contained character study movie, I think you would call it. Yeah. And it is, it is kind of a slice of life movie. Like, you are kind of just looking at him in a very tough period of his life. There's not really too much, going on here. Like, he doesn't have to, it's not like classic sports movie where he has to like go and win the big match. That's like the least important part of the movie is the wrestling. But I that's probably why I found it so deeply moving when he ultimately goes out doing what he loves. And also heartbreaking. Like it's great. And you get this great final shot. What did you think of that final shot?
Yeah.
Amazing way to end a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just he's leaping off of the ropes into, you know, whatever's next. You know, he and that scene is directed really well. I want to give some credit to Darren Aronofsky here. We talked bad about him a lot in the beginning, but
I think this whole movie's very well directed.
I agree.
I think he's made some like terrible movies, but he can direct a movie. And he's made some good movies.
For sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And the way that this final scene plays out is just so amazing, where first Marissa Tomei comes, he goes out, and then he starts wrestling, and you can see that you can even see the scar from the bypass surgery that he had like over his chest the entire movie, but it's particularly apparent in this final wrestling scene because he's got his shirt off and he's, you know, doing something that is going to effectively kill him. And you know, it's that scar is just a representation of his vulnerability. Like it's just right there in front of you. And then as he starts to fight, you can see him kind of like go into his knees, and it's kind of harder to get up each time. And to the point where he's, you know, going down, getting back up, going down, like it's really not looking good for him. And then he ultimately kind of goes out on top. Like in the end, like he goes out on his own terms, at least. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was very, very moving. Like surprisingly so. Like I talked about it before, but it's just a really, really good movie, and I liked it a lot.
This was a great pick.
This was. Yes. Thank you, Nick, for recommending a great movie.
Much, Nick.
You know, you could have fucked with us and made us watch some bullshit, but
Max and I had some pretty evil ideas of what y'all could have thrown at us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say any of them here.
No, yeah, you can't say.
I'm not going to, but yeah, if you want to pick a great movie for us to watch or a bad one, keep doing the challenge. Just keep watching movies.
Yeah, I think we should mention as well, like the actual Sneaking in the Movies marathon was, you know, it wasn't like Nick sort of ran away with it. Like it was kind of tight.
Yeah.
And the thing that separated Nick from the other people who submitted entries was the fact that Nick went to the theaters 7 times, I believe. So he got a lot of extra points for going to the movie theater. So if you're trying to, you know, if you're, you know, decide, you know, you see Nick's success here and you're like, I gotta beat this Nick Steen. Some, you know, tips for doing that would be go see movies in theaters. And also you could bridge the gap by watching movies on physical media.
Or just watch more movies in general. I mean,
or just watch a lot
everything
of movies
is so bad right now. Stay off that phone.
I couldn't agree more.
Just stay off that phone. Stay off social media. You know, just in general. I mean, you don't got to see a movie. You can play a video game, read a book, just hang out with your friends. But it's just so much night. Like you're laying in bed for 2 hours reading about how terrible things are. Just throw on a movie. It can be a movie you've seen.
Yeah.
There's movies I've watched 100 times, like literally 100 times, because I just need to watch something. But yeah, you know,
I also, you know, what was the other thing I was gonna say?
Find a fun marathon. Me and my roommates are doing a Pixar marathon right now.
That is a really
fun.
That is a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea, but you know, I'm locked in. Obviously, we did the tier list, so I don't think we're gonna have some kind of Pixar episode.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been
the thing that I was gonna mention was we did do a physical media episode last year. I think we need to do another one because I think that, you know, we've probably acquired some new stuff, and we have also I've learned a lot since that episode, I think, and I think we should do another episode. But all that to say, if you're looking for places to get some physical media to watch, to, you know, up your numbers in the Sneaking into the Movies marathon, if you're curious, your local library probably has DVDs and Blu-rays for like free.
Every movie.
Yeah.
Especially for you snobs out there. Criterion. Every library I've been to, just a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, library cards, they're free.
And you, in a lot of cases, at my library, you can just have them too. Like they're just giving them away in a lot of cases.
I need to check that out a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might not have a Blu-ray player. You probably have a PlayStation in your house. You probably have an Xbox laying down somewhere. 360s can play Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
PS3s,
PS3s. Yeah, I mean,
if you got one of those still.
yeah, I mean we got a 4K player down here, but we also I have a PS5 in my room that I didn't buy to watch movies, but I watch a ton of movies on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, keep watching movies, keep supporting movies. Like we said, these are scary times, the whole Paramount business, but you know what? We're always going to get movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the next Batman movie might suck or whatever, but we're always going to get indie movies. There's always going to be new directors coming out. So yeah, we're going to be okay.
We're going to be all right. And another thing, too, before we go is that, you know, if you're looking to participate in the Sneaking to the Movies Marathon this month of February, you can enter your entries at the link in our bio, of course, and the entries are going to be open for the first week of the next month, which is March. So if you want to enter into the Sneaking to the Movies Marathon, you think you could win, you watch a lot of movies this month, go to that link in our bio, do that whole thing.
I'll be putting up a little TikTok to remind y'all pretty soon. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that. But yeah, someone's got to beat Nick, you know?
Yep.
Nick, I got Nick on Letterboxd now, and
Yep.
he's seen a lot of movies, man. Nick
He has seen a lot of movies.
This might just be the Nick Steen episode for the rest of the year.
It very well could be.
Yeah, pick something fun for us to watch. Pick something bad for us to watch, you know?
Yeah.
Just think about the worst movie you've seen. Just be like, it would be so funny if Max and Norman had to suffer through that.
Yeah.
And, you know, get up, sit at their computers, and talk about how bad that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have on it. Just watch more movies.
Yep. And you know, enter into the Sneaking into the Movies Marathon for next month. And it's been a pleasure talking about The Wrestler.
Yeah, it's been a great time. We'll be back very soon in a couple of days. We have a very, very fun episode planned. Not something typically we talk about here.
Yep.
but-
It's not about movies. It's the very rare episode that, you know, it's adjacent to movies. Obviously, everything we talk about on the show is going to be movies, but we're not talking about any movie in specific. We're talking about something a little bit different. We won't say any more than that, but it's going to be a great episode.
Going to really like it. It's going to be real helpful and stuff. So, yeah. Anything else, Max?
I'm good.
All right. I guess we will sneak in with y'all next time. Keep watching movies.